The Spoken Token is a proud member of the Pod Studio One podcast network.
Well, hello there, everyone, and this is Larry coming at you again solo. I'm coming to you from the table, so to my game table down in my den, not in my usual recording space. And we've got another solo look, and I wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive into one of my favorite topics. And that particular topic, of course, around board games would be the accessories. I love the accessories, man. The card sleeves and the tubes and the play mats and all of the wonderful things that we do that can add to the gameplay experience. And some of them are literally just, as we like to say, bling or just to dress it up. And they're just for fun. But after all, we're playing board games. So there is nothing wrong with that. So sit back, relax. I'm going to take a quick look through some of my favorite current things and maybe give you some ideas and some places to go and look for some accessories, maybe to spice up your existing games collection. And we'll just have a short talk and then we will get back out of your way. And I will be right back right after this. Well, hello everyone, and welcome into a very special expansion episode of the Spoken Token podcast. At this time, we'll join your host, Larry Neal, as he talks about one of his favorite topics. That's accessories. So come join us as we talk containers, mats, dice, and maybe even a few surprises along the way. So, unroll that current brand new game mat and marvel at its splendor and turn us up as we join your host, Larry Neal. We are back, or should I say I am back. And so I want to get started with one that I recently picked up that is a new purchase. It's something that I've had my eye on for a while. I wanted to try them out. And I ran across one and I got an opportunity to pick one up on sale. I would have bought it at full price. The one that caught my eye just happened to be on sale. So that was an extra bonus. And I'm talking about the Gamegenic Token Silo Convertible. This thing I absolutely adore. It is fantastic. I will, of course, link all of these in the description. If you have not seen one of these, go and take a look. For one, it's kind of hard to see that you've missed it because I know when they first launched, they were everywhere, but I don't know that people fully really realize how cool these things are, because I didn't. I was intrigued by it because it's neat, it's symmetrical, and of course, they had the nice colors. And I thought when I saw them online and saw photographs of it, I said, it seems pretty cool. I may check that out. But now that I've held one in my hands, and even the first time I saw them in the store, I was just like, oh, wow. And if you don't know what these things are, they are fantastic. And I'll just read some stuff here from what Gamegenic says they are. They're ideal for tokens, cards, dials, dice, and many other items. They are fully usable during gameplay. Completely removable cover, which is like a piece of Tupperware. It's a clear plastic cover with the Gamegenic logo on it. That is true. That easily clips to the bottom, not wasting any precious space on the table, which is fantastic. You don't always have that issue, but when you do, it's wonderful that you can have it there and you don't have to worry about looking for where is it or taking up space from other components within the game itself. There are 9 removable trays in 3 different sizes in every one of these. And the large tray will hold up to 40 single sleeve cards or 75 unsleeved cards. The bottom part of the tray, if you take all of the compartments out, is usable as a dice tray, which is really, really cool. And of course, the design is fully modular. So whenever you buy these, they come in colors. So of course, they're colored pretty much the spectrum of the rainbow. So reds, blues, greens, whites, blacks, pretty much every color. The one that I picked up has all of those colors in the kit. So the base is white, and then it's got the largest tray is orange, then it's got red, yellow, green, and blue, medium trays, and then the small trays are alternating. It looks like gray and white. So 4 of those. It's fantastic. I love this thing. The moment I held it and picked it up off the shelf, I thought, wow, this is a little bit more sturdy and better made than I thought. Not that I thought that it was cheap, but I didn't have an idea for it. It looked really cool, but I wanted to reserve judgment until I put my hands on it. Not much packaging. It was in a bag basically and had a hanger for the wall. So I took it out of that when I got it home. And when I held it in my hands outside of its packaging, I'm just like, oh man, this is so lovely. But the trays come out. The first time I used it playing a game that we talked about, the dice game from WizKids. And I took all of the trays out. I kept the red tray for the spent dice, because that one you're rolling a set of polyhedral dice. And I set it right beside the large white tray that holds everything. And I used that in a coffee shop to roll the dice and use it as a dice tray. It worked perfectly. When I spent dice, I put them in the red tray. The cool thing about this one is I wanted to get a look at playing certain games with it, using different types of these colors to match, of course, the components on the table. When you have to put the components you store them in baggies or you store them in a nice tray that maybe can't come out of the box or doesn't really help because it's one big piece. It's cool to have color-coded trays that really help. Not necessary, but really cool. But again, that is the Gamegenic token silo convertible. If you're looking for something to hold bits and pieces, maybe you can pick up one or two of these. It'll give you about 18 small components. That will cover a lot of ground in terms of giving yourself some other options while you're setting up the game and or playing the game, which is really, really cool and what it's all about. Before we get to my favorite, actually, we will segue right into the next thing. I got a big old box of my favorite stuff here, so I'll move some of these out of the way. You'll hear me rattling some packages as I move some things. The next thing I want to talk about is an insert, and this is the one I'm using is from Folded Space, and this one is for one of my favorite games, which is Aeon's End. But the Folded Space inserts, if you're not familiar, they're not just foam core, which I know is a lot of hobbyists here in the U.S. and possibly around the world, but for sure here in the U.S., definitely here local. They'll go to the hobby shops and they'll get foam core board, which is basically foam board with a little bit of paper backing on it on either side or on one side to give it a little bit of rigidity. And it's used for, school projects mainly is where it kind of came from. Well, gamers picked that up. It cuts precisely because it's foam and paper. So with a really sharp X-Acto knife or blade, you can cut it really precisely. You can get the measurements you want. It's fairly inexpensive. It comes in huge sheets. And people were building inserts from them. You had to have some talent to just design the insert, to conceive it, design it, and then cut it out. And for me, I'm challenged on all of those fronts. So I bought some foam core to do that with and just never got around to it. Well, in Folded Space, they don't use a standard foam core like what I just said or what I just described. Theirs is a little bit different product. It's that same basis, but it's not the exact same thing. And it is a fantastic material that they use. It does have a core, but it's got a different, I think it's PVA, I think they call it, on the outside. Well, no, PVA is for the glue, I'm sorry. On the outsides of it, it's kind of more of a plastic, a little bit more robust material on either side of it. It's already cut. They expertly cut it. They've expertly designed it. So when you get it, you just get to punch it out and put it together. The PVA glue is what, a little drop of glue on some of the surfaces here or there is all you're going to need to put this together. You don't need tools. It is light. They are easy to assemble. I am a notoriously not puzzle guy, and I enjoy these. I enjoy putting them together. I bought 2 of these for Aeon's End. I've got 3 big boxes of Aeon's End. Well, okay, so so I've got more than 3 big boxes. But anyway, I was trying to see if I could get inserts for my big boxes, but they were on sale. So I caught them on sale. And one of the things that I noticed, because I have several other inserts. We've talked about them on the main show quite a bit, and I have quite a few of the wood product ones that I absolutely adore. A lot of I got a couple of broken tokens, and we've got a few other ones that are really good, and I like those. I don't have a problem with those. I don't have a negative for those. But one thing I can say is that when you put a good insert like that, whether it's this one or maybe one you built yourself, I've held a few of those. I've never built one. The box does feel better. It feels more sturdy, and it should, because of course now it has structure. It's just a cardboard box with your game components in it, but once you put that structure in there, which is part of what the insert is for, it makes it feel such a more reassuring pickup when you feel it. And if you need to stack something on it, well, if I'm going them horizontally, then we'll put the one with the insert on the bottom because it can definitely hold up to the weight. So that's another good frame of reference that you get. This is a great peace of mind for getting inserts. And of course, when they have features where you can pull trays out, pull pieces out, help you play the game, again, just wonderful, wonderful. The thing I noticed was that you still get the rigidity and the strength, but when you use a Folded Space, they are lighter. That does, because the wood inserts do add weight. So sometimes games are not really that heavy, medium-sized box, it's okay. Once you put the, one of the wood inserts in it, now, okay, this is kind of heavy. And of course, it's not laborious to move it around, but you're like, wow, this box is heavy now. One thing I've noticed with the Folded Space, you don't get that. You still get the rigidity. The boxes still feel really solid and nice, but they're not nearly as heavy. And then, of course, they are, fully designed for them to come out. They always have little bit trays and trays for your pieces in the particular games that you put them in, and you can just pull them right out. And that's where the glue comes in. You want to make sure you want to glue them together so that they'll hold together when you can just sit it on the table and people can pick right out of them. When you're cleaning up, you just put the pieces back in the tray they were in, and then you just put them back in the box. They help just from start to finish. They look great. They make you feel better about the box itself. They look good when you open it. It's fantastic presentation. They help you speed up setting the game up. They help you facilitate playing the game, and then they help you speed up putting the game up when the time is over and the game is finished. Fantastic. And that's inserts period. That's not just folded space. That's inserts period, particularly very well purpose designed ones. So again, that is an insert. If you find some, you've got a brand that you like, drop me a line. I'd love to check them out. I love to look into them and see and order some from them and figure out what's going on, put some together for some of my games and just live with them a bit, which is one of the things we love to do. But these, again, are we talking folded space? And again, we'll have these linked, of course, in the description. And we're going to move on. I'll get some of those smaller boxes and packages I was rattling. And I'm going to dig deeper into my box of goodies here to bring out. We're going to go to one of my favorite things, and that's sleeves. You can never have enough sleeves. You can never have enough dice. You can never have enough game mats. You know, I don't care if you tell Alex. I tell him all the time. That's just true. All of that stuff I just said is just true. As I pull out more and more packs of cards, okay, these are all the same, so we'll put those up. So first up on the card row is it is my current favorite. I won't put these on every game that I would sleeve, and I do sleeve every game where cards need to be shuffled more than just, a token time or two. That's just how it is, folks. I don't care if you at me or not. Just live with it. I'm not interested in defending it. It's just how I do it. I'm here to have fun, so I'll have fun. So you do you, and I'll do me. If my game needs to be shuffled, if the cards need to be shuffled, like more than just to start the game up, or if they don't need to be shuffled at all, then of course I won't put sleeves on it. But if they need to be shuffled and I'm going to play it, then yeah, I'm going to put sleeves on it. It is what it is. At any rate, my current favorite sleeves are the Eclipse sleeve brand of sleeves over from, and this is of course from Ultra Pro, and it is I guess they're premium. It's a step up. I don't know if it's their max premium or not, but I need to tell you about these sleeves if you don't know. The Eclipse sleeves, it's like a line, I guess, of sleeves with Ultra Pro. They are fantastic. They all have a black liner inside, other than obviously the clear one, so that when you put your card in it, the card back won't be seen through it. So if you get a colored sleeve, if you get white, it's got a black liner on the underside of the white, the underside of the colors. But these sleeves are silky smooth. They are phenomenal. They feel fantastic. They are a matte, which I prefer a matte finish, so that you don't get the glare as much from the lights overhead. We're talking about a card game, so a lot of times the cards are going to be laying flat on a table with some sort of hopefully decent lighting overhead. And glossy ones just, that glare, man. Same thing as with computer screens. You want to do, if you can, you want to get a satin finish. But these feel fantastic. I've not had a seam bust on these on me yet. I have probably used over 1,000 of, well, I've actually used almost 2,000 of these now in a couple of different, obviously in several different games. Once I found them, I purchased them and I just fell in love with them. I haven't used a lot of colors, but I have used a few. I've used white. I've got holding a set of white in my hand right now. I've used green. I've got some orange, and I've used purple, which, the orange and the purple are colors I probably would not normally use, but they were purposed for a game, and they're fantastic. Again, the quality is just so good. I mean, these feel premium. These feel like a premium sleeve. They come in packs of 50 or 100. I normally buy them in 100. Just makes more sense. When I can find the colors that I want, or if they don't go on sale that much, they're more expensive than the other one of the other entries. The next entry, actually, I'm going to talk about. But absolutely, they're worth it. But I don't put them on every game. The next entry also still sees very wide usage in my collection, but these are the Eclipse line of sleeves from Ultra Pro. Love them. They are my favorite current sleeve. The next one is Ultra Pro's new, just their standard sleeve, which is normally the difference in price between these. The last time I ordered some, it's been a while. Obviously, I still have a box of some, so it's been a while since I've ordered. The last time I ordered, those Eclipses were $9.99 a pack, and these regular Pro Mats were $4.99 a pack. So that's normally the difference in price, and that just depends on where you are. If your FLGS may be doing a better deal, or whatever online game store you use, or if you got some sort of discount, by all means. But that's what I ran into last time that I bought them. And again, this is the new standard for Ultra Pro. They improved their old standard ones. If you know anything about using their cards, they had the little hologram foil circle in the bottom left corner. That was their baseline card. This card replaces that one as their base card. That's why it's $4.99, and that's for 100. Both prices, excuse me, were for 100 cards. And these are fantastic. It is a lower quality sleeve than the Eclipse. The Eclipse are definitely a step up. The colored ones in this lineup don't have the extra black internal liner to hide the backs of the cards, so that may not make a difference. But these are fantastic. So I try to keep mats of these. I think I'm looking at like maybe 500 of them in this box. I got 5 packs of 100. I try to keep these around because when a game comes in, if I want to get it to the table right away, something new. Star Wars, the Star Wars deck building game, when it came into the house, if it did not have the sleeves with it, also from, well, they were from Gamegenic as well, which are fantastic. I most likely would have thrown it in Pro Mats instead of the Eclipse, because it's going to get a lot of play. And I have a lot of them here. I have enough to cover the whole game, and I can just throw them on. But these are fantastic utilitarian everyday sleeves. They are a step up from Ultra Pro's old set of sleeves, and these are fantastic. People want to sometimes, they have different objectives when they're picking sleeves. Maybe they want them a certain thickness. Maybe they want to save a little bit of money. My suggestion to you is to understand what your aim is going to be. What is going to be your goal? Is that what you want? Do you want a thinner sleeve? Do you want a cheaper sleeve? And there's going to be options out there for you in that. For me, I want the highest quality in a reasonable amount of dollar. That's what I'm going for. I'm putting them on, and I don't want to have to take them off because they're split, or because they're cheap, or because I don't like the way they look, or because they're glossy and they're glaring so much and they make the cards absolutely feel worse. I don't want to have to do that. So I went out and I've done through my research, and I've gone through a lot of different brands. And so these are my current go-tos. I will try sleeves from anybody. If I haven't tried a sleeve from someone, or if a company comes out and says, hey, we've reformatted, redone some things, I'll line right up. I will line right up. And all of this stuff here in the house, everything that I'm talking to you about today, these are things that I bought. And as you know, Alex and I, we normally buy other things that we use. And so these are no different. And I will set right up. I'll go right to their website, and I will order some sleeves, and we'll get them on a game. And we won't just get them in here and look at them and ooh and ah at them. I'll get them on a game and we'll play it, and I want to live with them, because that's what it's all about. I'm not sleeving them so they can stay in the box for forever, even if that's what happens more than I would like, simply because there's a lot of games and you can't get to them all. That's just standard. But the point is to be able to play with them and have them be nice and be a nice experience when you do. But these are the Pro Mats. I would recommend these wholeheartedly to anybody. Unless you have one of the caveats specifically against what these sleeves do, I would absolutely wholeheartedly recommend the Pro Mats from these guys. They are so good for me, and they've worked out, and they've been so durable. That is another set. Now I'll go to one that some of you probably know about, and I love the colors. And these guys, for me, used to be the pinnacle of quality when it came to sleeves. And I'm talking about Dragon Chills. I'm holding a box of Dragon Chills in my hand. I still love the colors, and I still love the boxes, and I still love the fact that the boxes double as deck boxes. So the deck of sleeves that you bought, whatever game you're doing, if you want, it's cardboard, it's not plastic, which is cool, but you can use them for that. And I love to keep these, but their colors are so imaginative. And again, I love the boxes and the box art. These were the pinnacle, and these sleeves are still fantastic. They are still fantastic. They have nice texturing on them. They are matte. You can get them in matte and glossy. That's another thing that you want to figure out when you're going for sleeves. Pretty much every lineup of sleeves will have matte and glossy, but they will say it. Okay, so make sure you know for sure, depending on the experience you're looking for, what it is you're purchasing. Make sure if you want matte, again, that's going to be sort of the heathered surface where it won't shine. So we can look at it in direct light and you won't get the glare of the light. You won't be able to see the actual light fixture, on your card. That's matte. And of course, glossy is just the opposite. They're going to be very smooth. They're going to be very shiny. And again, if you hold them up under a light fixture, you'll be able to see the light bulb or the fixture itself also in it. So whichever way you like it, make sure you know what you're going for. Don't just buy sleeves. Also with sizes, all of these are standard board game size. I've done the work on these because I bought all of these for a reason, for games. But make sure you know as well what size you need. That is a thing. Don't be intimidated by it. It's not really that daunting, to be perfectly honest with you, because everything is, and the reason why I say that, everything is regimented. I mean, they designed it this way. The game manufacturers, they understand. They're making cards a certain size. The people who make sleeves for the game, they made them for that game. So whether they're using the measurements, which would be the millimeters, most likely, even worldwide, I don't really see. Sometimes they use inches here in the US because we still use that system, but not always. A lot of times it's millimeters, or a lot of times it'll be by game, and they'll say, standard board game size, mini US, mini European. It'll say what it is, but always, when in doubt, just get the measurements, or go to the website or to the forum of the publisher of the game, or check it out on BGG and just ask. If you search on BGG, for the most part, I guarantee you, games that are currently out, most modern board games, the vast majority of them, not all of them, of course, but I bet the vast majority of them on BGG, I'm sure of it. If you go and search, what size sleeves do I need? Someone's already talked about it, and someone's already answered it with expertise and accuracy. So you can go and find it. So that's a step you need to do. So what are we talking about? It's the difference between hopping on Amazon and saying, hey, buy me board game sleeves and send them to the house versus actually figuring out what you need, which is a few extra clicks. Go to BGG, look up Glass Road. Glass Road is probably a terrible example, but it's in front of me because I was trying to work on some other content. But anyway, uh, and say, what size sleeves do I need for Glass Road on BGG? Well, you need these, and these are that, and these are this, and then you can get it translated. Well, what is that in the Ultra Pro? Oh, that's just a standard this. Or go to Gamegenic has a very, very fantastic resource for this on their website because, of course, they sell sleeves as well for that very reason. And most card manufacturers do. So you can go to the Ultra Pro site. Most of them do. They'll have something that, these are the types of games that you're playing, then these are the sleeves that you need. But I would say do that research. Don't be daunted and say it's too much work. If you want to protect your game, then by all means do it. Let's see what else we've got in the bag of goodies as we move on. We've got some more sleeves. Oh, we've got some more containers as well. I do want to talk about these. We've talked about them before. They do not have a brand name that I am aware of. There are so many sleeves in this box. So they don't have a brand name, but on the container field, and also I do have some Zen Bins as well. I have some of the little smaller square Zen Bins. A couple of them are just open on the bottom, and a couple of them are segmented off. Those are really cool. Zen Bins is another good one to look into for the bins. I know we talked about the Gamegenic bin at the top. All of these things serve a purpose, and they help you, like I said, set up. For me, most of my games, if they're not in an insert, and even part of them that are in the insert, if a part of a game when I put it up can use a baggie, I put it in the bag, little small baggies. Not the lunch baggies, not the snack glad baggies. I don't use nothing from the kitchen, folks. I'm going to talk about baggies now, too. I wasn't going to put that on here, but I'll talk about those in a minute. And so you can't always play in those, though, obviously. You need to open those up and dump the components out, and then you just have piles on the table. It doesn't necessarily bother me, but if I can put it in a container that makes it easier for people to get them, you won't have to dig in the pile, then that's great. Then I'll do that. So Zen Bins is another really good one. I may call them out separately on their own because their lineup is so extensive, and I've used so many of the Zen Bins. So in the future, we may come back and revisit and talk about the Zen Bins specifically, but those are really cool. So look into those as well. I will get them linked in the description. But these things I'm holding in my hand, I picked them up at the hobby shop here locally. They are jewelry containers. So they're in the jewelry section, like making jewelry, and they're round containers that you can screw together. And I think they come in a stack of 5, and they have like a plastic lid for like the very top one, but the other ones are meant to be screwed together. And then the bottom one, of course, is a hard plastic bottom. These are fantastic. I use these in my Runebound game and one stack of 5 held everything. And so I just screw them all together. When the time comes, you just unscrew them as I'm doing, and then you just sit them out on the table. And then people can use them. And then when you're done, you put them back in here, and then you just screw them back together. And you're done. And I love these things. They're fantastic. Again, I don't think there's not a brand name per se to these, but these are fantastic. I picked these up locally at Hobby Lobby, but any hobby shop that has jewelry making supplies will have them. And again, they're the round containers. They come in different sizes. They have smaller ones and big ones. I guess this is about medium. I probably should have measured this one across. I don't have anything to measure with me right now. And it's probably about medium size. They hold a good amount of components. Unless I've got a game that has just a ton of a particular component, I can get all of them into one of these or split them up. And these are super helpful. They're very durable. They're round, so that helps them fit in most boxes. So unless the box is a thin box, I can either put them in flat, horribly, or lay them on their side vertically if I need to assign them. I only have 2 left in my bit box because all the other ones are in games now full time. And these are really cool, and they're very economical as well. This is normally maybe $5 or $6 for a bag of them. So that's pretty cool. Also at the hobby shop, in the same section, is where I get my bags, or baggies as I call them. I like to keep a bag of baggies, as I like to say, and they're small. And again, they're for jewelry. They're for jewelry making. So if you're going looking, Michael's or wherever that you have, that's what you're looking for. And normally 3 sizes. So there'll be kind of a large one, a medium one, and then a small one. And with publishers doing a great job, which publishers that are listening, please keep doing it. Those of you who aren't, we're not mad at you, but it'll, if we need them, it would be awesome. Including the plastic baggies in the box. Between those and me buying those, I think I've bought over the years, and this is no exaggeration. I've been doing this now, bagging games like this, probably since about 2007, 2006 or 7. I've only bought though that the big bag is $10 and it'll have, all three sizes in it. I've bought that probably about a half a dozen times since 2007. Because again, manufacturers, a lot of them are really, really generous. And then I do have inserts, and some of the inserts are completely bagless. I don't have any components I want to put in bags. And then of course I recycle them. I recycle them. I'm not throwing these away. The only time I would get rid of a bag is if it bursts, right? Like completely, if it's burst. Things that I buy that come in small bags with a little Ziploc closure on them, but they're a little tiny. I keep those. I put those in my bag of baggies. So it's always growing. And then if I get to the point to where I'm out, then I will go and I will buy. And I'm thinking I most likely have not even purchased that big bag of baggies for $10 more than I don't even think it's been 6 times since 2006 or 7. I think I've probably only purchased it 4 or 5 times because there's so many bags. There's so many other ways to store. But when I need those, I keep that around so that when I need them, I have them. And opening up a new game, or if we're playing a game, I can just go and whip that out. If you bring a new game to my house and we play, I'll whip it out. I don't expect to keep those. I mean, I'm giving them to you if you want them. If you're just like, I don't want baggies, then don't worry about it. But if we're putting your game up and you don't want to just dump it all back in the box, yeah, here's some bags, man. Here's some small, here's some mediums, here's some large. Have at it, do your thing. That's a wonderful, wonderful component for me. That helps. It helps keep the game together. Just about done. We're going to wrap it up. I was going to talk about mats, but I'm going to talk about mats separately in their own, or maybe we'll get back to mats and dice maybe when we do the Zen Bins. But I do want to talk about one more thing, and that's tubes for mats, even though I'm not talking about the mats, because I have a particular brand here, and this is a Monster Protectors one, and it's kind of the triangle shape. I wasn't sure. The reason why this made this show, I wasn't sure about this when I first ordered it. I picked it up at a store. I needed a tube protector for my mats for a game and somewhere I was going. And I was expecting to get a regular round one and was going to go on about my merry little way. And this was all they had. So I wasn't thrilled about it, but I love this thing. Again, it's triangle. The cool thing about this one is if you stand it up on end or even if you lay it down, because of that shape, it doesn't roll. The round tubes do roll. They roll because they're round. Duh, they're like wheels. Duh, they roll. But this one doesn't. Like I said, it's a triangle. It will not roll. It's standard size, so it holds a standard size mat. I've got a mat in here from Fantastic Factories right now. In fact, that's where this one lives. I have a few of these now, and I love these. And I will say this again, like I said earlier, you can't have enough game mats. You cannot. Get tubes for your mats. The ones at the very least, get 1 or 2 traveling tubes. And I'm going to say just everybody. No one's exempt from this. If you like mats and you have them, no, okay, sure, fine. You are the arbiter of keeping them at home, and if you're taking good care of them, then sure, by all means, don't get tubes for them. You don't need them. But the ones that you're taking out, if you don't want those nasty creases, you don't want to get them, ripped or punched a hole through in the bag or whatever. Just get your protector. They're maybe $7, $8. They are plastic. They're full on plastic. We're talking about plastic stuff, but these things will last because again, the type of situations you're going to put them in, they're more than over-engineered to match, being put in your bag or being down, in your carry vessel with your other boxes. And trust me, you will be glad you did. I don't have all of my mats in a tube. I would like, I'm going to eventually get a better home storage situation. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to try to mat or sleeve, should I say tube sleeve every one of my game mats. I'll just have some mats that I can use. Like if I'm going to take a specific game that has a mat, then I know I can grab it. Here's a tube, boom, I'll pop this in, I'll take it when it'll be fine. That is the initial, or should I say the long-term goals. But again, I'm going to link the description to this. This is going to be the Monster Protectors. It's a triangular game mat protector sleeve, which is really cool. Quick rundown. We talked about Folded Space, wonderful game inserts. We also talked about, of course, the wonderful Dragon Shield sleeves. We talked about the Ultra Pro matte sleeves, just their regular matte line. The Pro Matte is what they're called. That's their basics. And we talked about their Eclipse, which was going to be their up-level matte cards as well, or card sleeves, I should say, which are fantastic. And then, of course, we did start off with the Gamegenic piece that I simply love, the token silo convertible. Mine is, I'll have pictures too and in the description as well of when I post this. Like I said, mine is kind of the rainbow color. It's got all the colors, but they have just a plethora of colors. And Gamegenic has a ton of accessories out that I do want to dig into and come back to you and get you some ideas on them. But durability on all of these things, I've been living with all of these things that I've talked about today for a number of years. None of these are brand new purchases, with the sole exception, of course, of the Gamegenic, because I just bought it But everything else, I've been using the Pro Mats. I've been using the Eclipse since they launched, maybe I guess 2 years ago. The Pro Mats I've been using since they revamped them. The Monster, obviously that sleeve is new as well, but I've had it now probably a couple of years. And then, of course, the Folded Space, I've been using those for a while now as well. And the durability for what my collection is put through, it is vouched for. I 100% vouch for it. They are fantastic. These are wonderful things. And again, just a few things you can do to accessorize. If you're trying to wrangle your collection or put things in order or take better care of things or have a little bit easier time at game night when you're setting up and tearing down the games, then by all means, pick up any of these things. Check out the link in the description. Thanks for hanging out with me while I do one of my favorite things and talk about accessories for games in this particular expansion. And we will see you next time. So I am Larry Neal for The Spoken Token saying keep playing and keep communicating.
This has been the Spoken Token Podcast. If you'd like to interact with us, please contact us through email at thespokentokenpodcast@gmail.com, on Instagram at The Spoken Token Podcast, on Twitter at The Spoken Token, or on Facebook at The Spoken Token Podcast. And you can reach us through our BGG Guild, number 2656.
You are listening to a Pod Studio One Podcast Network podcast. Find more great podcasts at www.podstudio1.com.